Well, I really appreciate the Ancient Apparition pick, John. Like, against the IODP, you're going to kind of put a halt to all that healing coming out with the Ice Blast. And that could really put a bit of a problem here for Mind Games, like just not having that IO be as effective as you would hope. And even the DP, right? Like, you're very reliant on having those Spirit Siphons being able to keep you sustained throughout the team fights. And, well, suddenly the Ice Blast, as long as it connects, could make it so none of that's going to happen. Mind Games, on the other hand, they do go for the Ursa pickup. Now, John, that does scare me a little bit in some sense for Mind Games. Obviously, it's very good against the Underlord during the laning stage, but later on, it does feel like you might just get kited by the Visage. And even with the Underlord, after the laning stage, once you have that Rod of Atos up, Rod of Atos, Pit of Malice, it feels like you might just never move as this Ursa.
Yeah, they've got a lot of ways of holding you back, kiting you around here on the side of BetBoom. I think the one positive is that they don't have the hardest stuns that are reliable, like Familiar Stun and Vortex are your hard stuns. Otherwise, Enrage should be able to go off on the Ursa if you just start off with a Pit of Malice and Cold Feet or Atos. So you will have a bailout there for Mind Games, and you do have that combination with the IO. And as you mentioned, lane matchup against Underlord is fairly good. So they can build off the back of that here for Mind Games. I do want to see them make an adjustment on the offlane. It feels like they need a big playmaker to set up. Like, right now you are severely lacking team fight outside of Static Storm, and you kind of want something that plays around with that well. Maybe some follow-through control from the offlane. Something like a Tide is what we tend to see mainly when we used to see a lot of Disruptor. Disruptor Tide, just having that wide control, great chain stunts to come out. You are kind of held back by the cooldowns. Could be one way to get that done if they want to here on the side of Mind Games. But again, for BetBoom's part, they're already showing their Tricores. They're just looking for maybe our Force Major here or a Seneko here on 4-5, depending on how they want to flex that Ancient Apparition. I'm wondering if the Chen is going to be left in. Like, there's one more ban here. And Seneko does love his Chen.
Don't get me excited, John. You know how I feel about the Chen if it does come out. I get very happy. I mean, it doesn't really fit though. Like, Chen AA combo, is that a thing? I mean, you could be so confident that you could run it. I guess. BetBoom, they made game one look really easy. So, I mean, I guess they could just go for it if they really want.
Yeah, I think
would it work?
I think it works. I think it works. You're going to be more reliant on, say, the Underlord to start, and you to follow up with stuns from, say, creeps, from the familiars, from the storm zipping in. But you do have enough control that it's not a massive issue. Like, there's nothing highly mobile on Mind Games, right? Like, no one that just zips around the map like an Ember or the Storm's on your side. Void Spirit's not there, and there's might not be room to pick it up if they will run the mid DP. So I think it would be fine. And there's that Chen. Well,
hey,
what do you know? It does come out. There you go, Mike. We get the Seneko Chen. It's always a treat to see Seneko play the spear. It's been a while for you and me to see this here at all. Even doubly so, considering the last time we've seen Seneko play this here ourselves in a game we've casted. So a nice special treat. And again, for me, it makes sense because you just dominate your lanes now. Like, Chen Visage actually sounds like a really scary lane to play with Penitence on hand. Mind Games, they will go Slaughter. So that does give you some hold. That does give you a Blink Initiator. A great way to play around with the IO as well. You've got the IO combination on hand. We will get the Ankrad DP mid. Matchup against Storm's not too bad. It is manageable for the DP to a certain extent. So it's a lot stronger for draft for Mind Games. Considering what BetBoom has, though, I like the draft way more here, buddy.
Yeah, so do I. I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, this could be a very fast game too as well. Once you hit your timing with the Visage and the Chen, if you're already ahead, you just kind of run them down. Like, there's no real escaping. And we know with these neutral creeps, the new ones at the very least with the Dark Troll Summoners and the Harpy Scouts and everything else, it can feel a little bit impossible to try and fight with that much vision and try to stop the pushes when there's a billion skeletons running at you with this Chen. I'm very excited to see how it all pans out, Jonathan. This is going to be game number 2 here between Mind Games and BetBoom. Of course, Mind Games 1 game behind BetBoom, 1 game away from qualifying to the Stockholm Major. Very exciting stuff for them. All they've got to do is get this 1 game victory here against Mind Games. Essentially, for BetBoom, it's a best of 1 right now.
Yeah, best of 1 to make it right through, get their ticket onto the Major. I mean, thinking about the possibilities of BetBoom and Boom there, Mike, there's going to be some confusion when that series breaks up, if they make it through. Not a locked-in thing yet for BetBoom. Of course, you have to respect that MindGames can still force a game tree. They're still a proven team coming in from Div 1, but BetBoom's just putting up a massive fight. You know, even though they are promo tees from Div 2, we've seen that a lot across the region. Some of these Div 2 promo tees just looking stronger than the established teams on Div 1. And Tour 3 is going to be shaping up to be a run for their money there. So it's a nice little treat here, as we will get into the game relatively soon. But again, BetBoom just going back to their staples, going back to that Laurel Storm, going back to the Hawk Visage again, just left unbanned in the first phase. I mean, I get your confidence. Again, it goes back to what I said, right? Like, maybe you just want to bait them into the same heroes, adjust your draft. They have made adjustments on MindGames' end. Whether or not that's enough, it doesn't feel like it, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. We get into it. Game number 2. Couldn't help but notice, by the way, people keep saying I look sleepy. For the record, I always look sleepy. Don't mind me, ladies and gentlemen. I am not sleepy whatsoever. I'm wide awake right now. Don't you worry. John, you could back me up here. I always look sleepy.
Yes. That's just the natural resting state of your eyes. You know, when we first talked to each other, that's exactly how you looked. I thought you were just bored of me. Turns out, that's just how it is. You know, he doesn't mean anything by it. Can't help it. That is just Mopey La Phoenix. There you go. That's what the M stands for, Mike. Mopey.
Make no mistake, John. I was very bored of you. I'm not tired, though. That's for sure.
Oh, Mikey.
You know what it is, John? Because you've got the damn glasses on. So they can only see my eyes. And they think I'm just looking tired. If you had your glasses off, maybe with the comparison, it wouldn't look too bad. Like, maybe they'd just be like, oh, yeah, John, they look similar enough. They'll be right. Take the damn glasses off, John. You can't always be the cool kid here.
It'll come off soon enough. A bit of a drive-by there with our Iris Slardar. Should still end up being an even trade, as you will manage to grab that rune here on Dino. So it does come out evenly. A little bit of a tag, but not too much coming out. Snako taking some hits. Does go for the Holy Persuasion level 1, so we'll immediately see those new creeps in action if he does get a good camp. But of course, the side of MindGames will get some early blocks off. Don't want to give that free start. And that is exactly what you want to do. We've seen this up against Enchantress. And we do have a beautiful mic cam there. And
what is that?
A Mopey Donkey. It's a Mopey Donkey. That's you, with a beard on top of the Mopey Donkey. Maybe. I don't know. You're an old man, Mike.
Well, why is production always ready to give you what you need to make fun of me? Like, when are they going to have my back so I can make fun of you sometimes, John? Is there like a courier with sunglasses on or something that we can make fun of? Anything?
I think there actually is. I just don't know if anyone equips that. Still, you know, looking at that mid matchup, Laurel once again on that Storm up against the DP. Einkrad should have a much more manageable lane. Contracting with Spirit Siphon can clear out the wave with a Crypt Swarm. Harder for Laurel to just look for that opportunity to go for Vortex Level Overload at level 3, because Einkrad can just heal through. And this time around, the runes will be important for Einkrad. He was finding the early water runes, finding some of the early power runes, but this time with the bottle hero, he's going to have to pressure a little bit more onto those objectives. Laurel, for his part, though, not really caring too much. Like, yeah, you do take some damage from the Spirit Siphon, but you've got your own wave clear here on the Storm, and he is dragging ahead with his CS right now.
That he is. Lol, he's been very good on the Storm, and we saw this in Game 1. Even against the Invoker, he was leading for quite a while, up until you hit that level 4, level 5 mark, and the Invoker started to slowly take over. Should have a look at the other lanes as well, though. Maybe bot lane. You're going to have the Underlord and AA combo against Slayer and the Ursa. It should be the Ursa's advantage here, so Dino should be able to get something done here against the Underlord by Notice, but for now, it seems like Notice is just perfectly fine, and I suppose you always have Force Major around to try and slow down the Ursa. Then again, Slayer should have a nice glimpse back when necessary, but for now, they aren't trying to get too aggressive. Being very passive, just trying to secure their own CS, and I suppose that's one way to do it.
Yeah, I think this isn't as straightforward for the Ursa as you'd like it. In a vacuum, up against Underlord, it is better. You have to consider that, you know, there's the Firestorm that burns through your HP well. There's an AA with a Chill and Touch that just cuts you off from running forward. So getting the hits off onto that Underlord's a lot harder than it is. You don't have the value point in Overpower. I'm not even sure if you'd want that value point here to look to be aggressive. And that just leads to a really strong lane for Notice. The threat of Cold Feet plus Pit, although the Pit's not even up, that threat's always there, and just this constant right-click damage coming through from Force Major is making this tricky.
Absolutely. How's that top lane going? The Hawk, Seneko, Tushara, Bignum going at it. How do you slow down the Visage's Slanter, though? Like, you could just deny creeps away, which is, I guess, is kind of the idea here from the Slanter. The Hawk having a bit of a slower time than, say, game 1 on this Visage. It's rather hard to see, as I suppose, against Patushara here. Seneko not able to help too much either on the Chen. You do need to just secure those initial levels up to, you know, to have that Holy Persuasion going a few more levels, and then you can really start to get a little bit funny about it. Now, just again, a very slow start to the laning phase, but it does seem like both teams just need to secure that early start before they can really get going.
I am keen on seeing down the line. I want to see the Penitent stacking up with Grave Chill, just to see how slow you can get and how much damage that could be. I think that's going to be one way for BetBoom to really start running down this lane once the levels ramp up. Of course, you will want to prioritize Holy Persuasion, so I don't see Seneko really dipping away from that all too much. And they have managed to at least unblock some of their camps, so more options here for Seneko once that Holy Persuasion is brought up to level. You are giving a better time for Patushara, but the Hawk still has double null up. You know, he's still in a comfy position to spam spells when aggression does show itself. It isn't yet, and perhaps this more passive lane will benefit MindGames down the line.
Perhaps. Lane, Aincrad, Lal going at it for a little bit there, but he's just fine. CS right now in the favor of Aincrad, but Lal's going to have a large creep wave in his favor by the tier 1 tower and should be able to catch up quite nicely. Meantime, bot lane, Dino copping a fair bit of damage from that Firestorm, but is going to be able to barely survive, and Slayer will be able to salve him up. Able to just reset and go again, but I mean, you kind of pointed this out already. It's definitely not as simple for Dino than it looks on this Ursa vs Underlord matchup, but I do still feel like he should have had the advantage, John. Maybe you are right, but, well, Dino, he'll get chased down now, and it certainly doesn't feel like he's having a very good time whatsoever at this point.
No, it's a slower start than you'd want to. Both sides, their off lanes are having a much better time than their safe lanes, and that is to the benefit of MindGames. I think the early timings of a Slardar are maybe a little bit scarier than, say, an Underlord getting a fast Vanguard. I mean, that is annoying, but the presence of Slardar is going to be bigger. He's going to be more of a playmaker. I think that is a good foundation for MindGames to have this good start on. They're just going to have to accept that Dino is going to have to farm. This Ursa is going to have to go back to the jungle, work towards some item first before running around, maybe go for the early Morbid Mass, try to secure Roshan up against a Visage. That can be tough. You do at least hit that level 6 now on Aincrad, so you can get a little bit of a siege down mid, but that forces BetBoom to just drag heroes down.
Oh, speaking of Aincrad though, John, he's just popped the Exorcism, but Seneko has rotated. They just don't have the burst damage quite yet. Especially with Bignum around. Healing him up though, Aincrad again being chased down, but he is going to be able to outrun them. Does take a nice double damage rune for himself. In fact, never mind, Slayer. He shows up, but again, Bignum trying to save. Is not going to be able to get it done as Aincrad still trying after Lal, but is not going to be able to secure the kill. The Storm is going to survive, and they have successfully defended that mid-tier 1 tower.
That's really good plays coming out from Seneko, getting the body blocks off to get that kill on the Disruptor, and just having double stun creeps up, you know, and just having those 2 golems tossing stones around, making it really, really hard for Aincrad to just stand steady in mid and try to get damage off into mid-tier 1. Still relatively healthy too here, Mike. 1,100 HP and not too much damage done by the Exo. So you're going to have to wait for that spell to be off cooldown again to make that move. And the side of BetBoom, they do lose their offlane, at the very least. They get the punishment off onto Notice, and you are seeing the Ursa start to get the value there. Overpower is up, so you can't just rip that Underlord to shreds. But as you mentioned, though, this feels fairly late for the Ursa to hit that point. And I think BetBoom's already gotten what they want from that lane.
I mean, keep in mind, John, that was 3-on-1. And Notice just kind of stood there and just fought because he knew he was going to get glimpsed back anyway. And he did a lot of damage back to Dino, who was just tethered up by an IO. Which is another concerning sign. Like, the Underlord, he took a while to die to this Ursa. And even then, it was still 3-on-1. Not a great sign whatsoever for MindGames. At the very least, though, the other lanes have gone quite well for them. Like Aincrad, top of the net worth board. Tushra right behind him on the Slaughter, and that's definitely great news for MindGames for this game number 2. But I do feel like in game 1 they did win up their lanes as well. It just didn't seem like it translated. Zankrad gonna try and go onto Lal once again to secure those power runes, but he's in danger now. Cold Feet not gonna lock him down. Still being healed up. Lal actually gonna be forced back. He was out of mana. They might have been able to turn, but the glimpse back does give Lal a retreat path, and it'll be a very small mistake there being made by MindGames. The Slayer still trying to move in. Dino's there as well, trying to get Force Major. They will get the AA, but is it really worth the Ursa's life? They'll try to save with Bignum, but there goes Lal back in onto the Ursa. Dino still surviving though. Notice he'll get the Firestorm off and he'll have enough damage. The Slayer also going to get caught out, or at least noticed here by Seneko. But in fact, it's Seneko being caught out. He'll just go for a TP play though, and he'll be fine. They don't have the stuns to stop him. And so they find the Ursa for the AA. A great trade for BetBoom.
They still find an extra kill for Notice. Does manage to get that kill onto Disruptor. You are starting to get a little bit more chip from Ironcrad, but again, Extra came out early. Tower is still set to fall. We are seeing issues in managing that regen coming out from Bignum. And they do get to jump in the back here.
Yeah, top lane, the Slana copping a lot of damage, but Lal, he can't get the damage out in time. Bignum on the IO just doing so much work as Aincrad. Immediately out with the voice lines once again. But you got to give credit to Bignum here, John. On this IO, how many heroes has he saved so far? And we're only 9.5 minutes in.
And you've got to have the respect here from BetBoom to jump the IO first. Every single time, BetBoom's been trying to brute force it. You know, he just jumped straight for the tethered target instead of the IO itself, prolonging these fights, giving MindGames that opening, and MindGames, for their part, recognize those openings, jump back in, get the punishment off. BetBoom, they've got that mobility on Storm. Laurel has to be able to isolate that IO somehow. They are starting to get a bit of push top. Drums are up from the Huck, and he does have a Familiars ready.
Nice push back with the Wild Ring Ripper. Tushra, still going to be okay. The Huck, not going to be able to chase him down. With the Grave Chill, just way too fast of a Slaughter here with the IO. Tushra, he's just going to stick around and keep being a real nuisance here towards the Huck, not allowing him to get that farm he needs. Meanwhile, towards the south, who have they gone? It looks like they caught Slayer, but Seneko, he's the one in danger now as Aincrad going to rotate and take him down. Aincrad, he's been very vocal this game, and you love to see it.
Feeling a lot more confident having a strong performance out from MindGames early on. It is as you said though, Mike, it did feel like MindGames had pretty strong, decent laning starts last game, maybe except for the Underlord lane. But this time it's translating properly. They're finding objectives, they're shutting down some big cores, they're finding some great support kills. They are managing to get that grip on the game that was lacking in game 1. BetBoom, they're still brute forcing out. They're forcing the fight down bot though.
I know. He's going to try and fight back against Notice. He's dropping quite low. Peter Malice will be there. He'll go for a run, but there's your exorcism being popped. Notice still barely getting his way out. Still surviving. Aincrad, Cryptswarm. It's not going to land on the Underlord, but he can chase for more. He'll dive the T1 tower. Can he actually get this done, though?
What?
He may be going too far here. Aincrad, he needed to back off. Way too confident. And the Spirit Siphons were nice, but not that nice. Tips out from Lal.
He really wanted Notice dead. And he was so low, but they didn't have enough to catch up to him. The misses out in Crypt Swarms as well. And BetBoom find another big kill. Like they managed to kill off that mid. They can start sieging bot. You do still have Familiars. You do still have a Chen on hand as well, so the creeps come through, and it doesn't take too long for this process to get done. They already lost their top tier.
Lal, he'll be healed up. The Hand of God, he will survive as now they get the portal going. Noticed, even going to show up, but unable to land the Pit of Malice. Even bother for it. BetBoom, still slightly behind in this game number 2 though. Still require a bit more net worth to really be online. They'll just take their time and try to keep that farm going. Especially on Dahak. As well as that, you still want Lal to get a bit more net worth on himself. I say that, John. He is going for the null talismans again. Guess he won't need too much net worth. It's Roshan. He's going to be focused here from MindGames, and they might just get away with this. It doesn't seem like BetBoom are quite aware that Roshan is happening.
cleared really fast. They have that Morbid Mask on Dino, so doesn't take too long. Finally using that early press of the Ursa well, and they're going for a bit of smoke. Einkrad, along with Slayer, are around the area. They've got Static Storm ready here.
Seneko trying to go for a run, but the glimpse back is going to be there from Slayer, and that should amount to a very simple kill for Einkrad. He does secure. Meanwhile, towards the north, Dino does end up finding Force Major. Does take him down. He's just going to be wary not to lose the Aegis this early on. But it looks like he is going to be fine to back off, as towards the north they are starting another fight. Lal being chased down on the storm. He's going to be okay to back towards the fountain. But MindGames, so far so good in this game too. Just very dominant kind of beginnings here for this draft. And well, if they can keep this up, John, seems like they're off to a game 3. Is the Hark now going to be chased down? There's your IO relocate into the glimpse back. They've got the Visage and they'll take him down. Great plays once again from MindGames.
And they're playing around that mobility really well now. They've got the aggression they want. They managed to kill the Visage and the Familiar. So it's a lot of gold you're starting to bleed out here when you do jump onto the Hawk. And BetBoom has to be weary about bleeding out too hard. Their lineup is geared for like a mid-game timing. They need to snowball pretty damn well to get that done. And so far, MindGames realizes that. They have really strong presence in the early game. They know they can scale up really nicely as well. They have great synergy with the Ursa Slaughter, IO Ursa, IO Slaughter as well. It's pretty darn good. And BetBoom just doesn't have a response. Like, they do have the ults on Notice, so he can kind of just ults at and use the Pit of Malice, try to catch someone out. They are inching towards that BKB for Laurel. And that could be the point where it starts to feel comfy. In fact, he's just going for the Ag Shard instead. So maybe maybe looking to play with that with the creep army. I'm not sure if that works in summons, but Familiars with Overload does sound obnoxiously strong there, Mike.
It certainly does, John. Suppose we'll find out very soon if it does work. Yeah, quite the feature if it did. Though they are behind BetBoom, 4K behind in fact. MG, more than happy to keep securing their own farm. They want to make sure that net worth lead just continues going up their way. So just looking very, very nice as you look at the net worth of BetBoom heroes right now, John, and they're just nowhere near. And the only one even contesting MindGames at the moment is Noticed on the Underlord, and he's not quite the man you need the net worth on right now. I feel like this Visage or the Storm is much more important. At Lars is trying to get a BKB up for now.
Now, this is the one thing with the Underlord. It is a bit of a gold sink. It just eats up farm, tries to build up for its utility items, and tries to go from there. But you have to have the backup of some really big cores. Laurel.
There's a glimpse back. Slayer once again set up with the Static Storm. It's not going to be enough to hold him down yet. In fact, they'll try to turn now with the Hand of God. Bignum, he's gone. It could open up the team fight. Patushara, he goes too far to boot. Dino, does he really want to keep going? It seems like he does, but his Aegis is, well, it's going to not expire anytime soon, but he might just lose his first life. He'll be okay for now as Einkrad. He's going to pop the Exorcism and try to fight back. He's going to be very careful, though. They've got plenty of damage with all the units around him. Einkrad, he's going to use up, try to heal up. It's just not enough. And this is where MindGames may have made a huge mistake.
I can confirm as well, I saw Familiar with the Overload buff. 40 bonus attack speed on top of the bonus attack speed you get from Grave Chill, on top of Penitence when it's up from Seneko, adding on to that. Yeah, it works. And they just melted when the Hawk came up there with the Familiars with the Overload. I can't believe this works, Mike. I actually can't believe this works. You know why? You stare at that Overload Ag Shard upgrade, it just says, can be activated to grant Storm Spirit in nearby radius. Nearby what radius? Nearby what? What nearby him? Just nearby radius. Everything. I suppose that means everything around him.
Yeah. Just towers, trees, rocks, everything. Everything is getting overloaded. Anything in the radius, Jonathan, is being electrocuted by Storm Spirit. It makes sense. It's electricity, John. It's logical.
Oh, and they have the Harpy creep. to give more vision out. It's not like the
course.
familiars do enough with that. Look at this massive army from Seneko. And the healing has been really good with the mech on top. Like, it's just so hard to get that burst going, especially with the atrophy cutting off a lot of your physical output as well for that burst window. You managed to sit through that ages here, BetBoom, not catching out dinos, so they're not playing into it as much, and with a mid-tier 1 taken, this gives BetBoom room to invade that bot jungle. Look at all the wards MG's dropped there, and all the sentries they've dropped just to ensure that their bot jungle is secure. So it's going to be a bit tough for BetBoom to get in there. They haven't really reclaimed their top jungle, but they've been doing a good job. They still have the net worth deficit here, Mike. 4K lead for MG stand, so they're still in a really good position. We've seen them make the plays with the IO. Have to be careful, though.
Oh, Slayer. Great game. Or rather, great start to the... Oh, no, Bignum. He's in trouble now as well. Portal drop from Notice. He saw it straight away. That's going to be your IO gone. Save a buddy syndrome. Does kick in. Bignum. Well, both Bignum and the Disruptor, they've had a great game 1 up until around this point. And now it's just slowly starting to fall apart here, it seems, as MindGames. After this laning phase, they've just got to be careful not to give too much the way of BetBoom, as they are within their own power spike right now.
Stupendous.
They're chasing mid lane. Noticed. Not going to be able to catch the Ursa. Going to be just fine, and props to Dino here, just farming very well, just trying to go towards that BKB before he gets any more involved in these engagements. But it does seem like MindGames just kind of have to sit back and relax for a little bit. Again, the power spike from BetBoom is just way, way too strong right now, as they have found out Slayer once again. He's on a warding run right now, but he is going to get dropped. Seneko to pick up the kill. And you just can't hide, right? You've got Familiars, you've got the Harpy Scout, now you've got a Death Prophet trapped up. Ankrat, he's going to use himself up and be fine. And John, even better, the Aghanim Scepter's coming out soon for Dahak, so you're going to get a bit of a flying vision for the Visage himself. And why not?
Flying vision, bonus damage when you break that invis, 30%, plus the overload on top. Plus, again, eventually you'll have Penitence up here from Seneko. I don't see him going for stats, just to spite that spell. Could. Don't think he would. But there's just so much buffing on the Familiars. This is just wild. I mean, the side of MG, for their part, they've got the BKB on Patushara. They are working on to the BKB on Dino. So, once you have that double BKB on these cores, it does feel a lot better up front. Your BKB on DP is not going to line up with that. It does opt for the Kaya Sanj first. But that spell immunity might be enough to save him. One big thing that BetBoom has up against that is going to be the Force Major with his Ice Blast. So he's got to be on point with that use. Beyond that, that could be the second win here for MG. I say second win. They still have the net worth lead on their side, Mike. BetBoom has found a couple of good skirmishes, but they haven't been able to really retake that net worth lead, stabilize their own farm on their cores. So overall, MG is still in a pretty good spot in this game.
That they are, John. I mean, they are certainly still in a great position here, MG. Again, that's kind of why I was mentioning. It's just about kind of relaxing a little bit and letting Dino get that BKB up first on the Ursa before you really start to move as a unit once again. Now, while they do have it up, it seems like they'll even maybe just wait for the blink to come out. So you have that added mobility and the nice initiation for this Ursa before you really do get going. But they are going to group up. They might force the smoke out as 5, and that they will. In we go. Can they find the side of BetBoom? MindGames is going to go through the dire jungle. The Hawk, he's by the T2 tower, and so is pretty much the rest of BetBoom, who smoke up themselves, and there's your Ags up, Jonathan. Ags on the Visage, Roshan happening. They've got plenty of ways to scout this out, and here comes the Harpy Scout to give all the vision. That's a great pit of malice, and now the bash from Roshan. Ice Blast is going to connect Dino. He could not get the BKB off in time. He's going to tick out. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Roshan bashing him at the wrong time. As Slayer's going to drop to boot, and now Roshan will go the way of BetBoom.
Oh, there's no stopping this. They found all the big kills they'd want to. I mean, we saw that immediate bailout coming there from Patushara. He knew what was up. He didn't get bashed. Had to sacrifice years to get that done. And now they can hit over. Oh, God.
He's surrounded. They get exactly where they needed to as Aincrad. I don't know how you get out of this one, Aincrad. I mean, he's healing up, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. Notice he's just so good with these portals. They'll go after the top tier 1. They may as well stick around for a top tier 2. They just take the towers that darn quick.
Yeah, it just goes super fast with a creep army, with a visage up. And that's what was lacking in game 1. In comparison, Notice is getting really good offensive gates off on the Underlord, giving those good angles to find additional punishment while they're ahead. Side of BetBoom, feeling great. We saw a little spin coming out there from our Storm while he's sieging. You can see that fight again, just unfortunate bashes from Roshan. Great angle in from BetBoom. It's so hard to try to take Rosh when there's so much vision from BetBoom. Like, it might not be active vision, but it is evolving, moving vision. With a Harpy Creep, with the Familiars, they can sense when Rosh is up. They can immediately respond. Start off with the Ice Blast from a mile away. And as mentioned, BKBs don't save you from that Ice Blast there, Mike. Once he's dropped low, you're dead.
Very true, John. I bet boom. I mean, the funniest part is you still look at the no worth graph, and it is still the slanted DP at the top. It just doesn't matter anymore. These combinations, these drafts that BetBoom come up with just seem so much stronger. And it is all pretty much allowed because you have Visage. Yeah, that kind of seems to be the big problem. Is once this Visage gets online, it's like, what the hell do you do afterwards? It's MindGames. They're going to go for a 5-man smoke. It does feel like they need to be the ones to initiate on their side of things if they wish to get a good team fight going their way. They need to at least blow up one support before this fight really begins. But now they're fighting into the Aegis of Lal. It's not going to be that simple. They'll move in, but they look quite hesitant to go into that dire jungle for now. Eventually they'll make their way up, but they're not going to find anyone. Everyone's down at the bot lane here for BetBoom. It's almost like they've read the movement here from MindGames, and they just want the bottom tier 2 tower, I'm sure. They just take it so fast, there's no reason to just not take the objectives.
Yeah, and they get a good read on the map. They know when something's up, and they just go for the objective play. Nothing to stop them. Take the outpost, secure that push. And with the Aegis, they could maybe threaten high ground if they wanted to. Honestly, there's not much stopping them. The side of MG, outside of the early mid-game, you know, around 10 minutes ago, 15 to 20 minutes, the side of MG, we're still finding really good relocate plays. We haven't seen that come true. And again, it's just that they have this offensive potential, but they don't come in. Yeah, there you go. Look at that overload. Why?
Why not, John? Why not? Aincrad, he can't afford to die right off the bat here, Johnny. He's too important, but he's gone already. It's just way too quick. Dino gonna try and fight. Patushra, he's already popped the BKB. They're trying to go after the Visage. He's still fine, though. 4-staff away, still surviving. Hand of God out. Another 4-staff. Clip him back. It's still not gonna be enough. He'll survive for a little bit longer. They'll finally take him down, but what's it gonna cost? A dieback on Aincrad. Patushra is gone to boot as the Visage will buy back. He wants back into this team fight. They're going right for the jugular here, BetBoom. They want that Stockholm Major invite. That bottom rack's not going to last very long. The Visage is incoming. Here comes the Hark.
They're going.
Tier 4 towers we go. No DP available. BetBoom, they want this game over with. They want an early night. They might have time to celebrate as they do move in. That'll be one Tier 4 tower gone. Are they going to fight? Not quite. They call it. GG is called. And there's your qualified team for EEU, at least for the first slot. It is going to be BetBoom going to the Stockholm Major.
Oh, man, what a way to go out here for BetBoom. MG, they put up a good fight. They allowed a Visage in 2 games. It looked like they got certain draft adjustments here in game 2. They didn't manage to snowball hard, and props to BetBoom. This team has just looked amazing in this playoffs for that Stockholm Major. They pull out the Visage, they go with Chen, they get the shard on on Laurel, and it's I can't get over that. I can't get over it, Mike. The shard on Laurel giving overload to Familiars.
It's a
he
radius,
bypasses BKB. Yeah,
it's a radius.
It's just a radius.
It's
nearby.
just radius.
Just nearby. Nothing to describe with nearby. Everything nearby. Now, I don't think the Chen creeps got it, though, but still, those Familiars hit like a truck. And the Hawk, again, with his unique pause once making it work, and just Seneko playing his Chen. Like, he had a great time in lane. He just provided all the healing. So many clutch heals coming through to enable that, especially to enable Notice to stay alive in those chases. And BetBoom just plays amazingly well. What an exciting team to potentially see in that major. Just off the few games they've played here, they managed to really prove a point going through, and I'm keen to see what happens. You know, going to the major, playing against the big teams from across the world, playing against Boom. BetBoom versus Boom. That is my matchup to watch out for, Mark, just because it's going to confuse the hell out of everyone, and Gary will always claim that Boom came first. So I don't know what Boom he'd refer to at this point. BetBoom? Boom? Boom the player? There's so many Booms now, Mike. It's too much.
It is too much, Jonathan, but the more Booms, the better, I reckon, as we do see some highlights here. I mean, is this where it all went wrong? They tried Lull, he got glimpsed back here, and I feel like that was a bit of an issue. Like, they could have secured the Storm kill right then and there. The glimpse back, it kind of works against them. It still seems like they can get a bit out of this, it seems, as Dino. I think he gets Force Major here, eventually. But it costs him his own life. And that was an interesting decision to make here from Dino, to go for the AA kill. Obviously not worth losing the Ursa's life for that. So he will go down to the Firestorm, and I suppose he thought he could make his way out, but wasn't quite the case. And Aincrad, as you can see, he moved in, and there was some really just brilliant moments here from MindGames, just with the relocate plays from the Slardar and Io, constantly finding out this Visage. And with the setups from Slayer, this is what I was talking about, John. The first 15 minutes were just great setups, but look at this. Just big stuns out. The Hux here drops the Bignum Io, and as soon as the Io is gone, that seems to be where everything goes wrong. The Bignum, he was just doing so much work and keeping his mates surviving, but not so much when he's gone like that.
No, they really needed the Io to help sustain. Once they started to find that backline here in BetBoom, the game simplified. This one was interesting too. We see Notice go in and out of this fight, barely surviving, gets a good heal from the mech from Seneko, and just sustains. And this Roche fight, I think, was really the big turning point where it started to fall apart.
He did. I mean, look at that. The bash comes up from Roshan. The Ice Blast connects. It gets the damage in. They notice straight away. He tries for the BKB TP out. It's just not enough. With the passive out from the Ice Blast, and it just all fell apart. I mean, one bad team fight against a team like BetBoom, and it just seems like the game's kind of over. Especially when they're running this Visage Chen style of draft. And you just see how confidently they dive in. Poor old DP Aincrad. He dives back here in this team fight, and they just call the GG. They know they could not fight without the DP available. They sat there in the fountain for a while, and yeah, it just didn't work out. As you see Dahak just running around, getting glimpsed back and forward, finally going down, but it just doesn't matter in the end because you lose way too much. The dieback on the DP really just sealing the deal here for BetBoom, and again, they just make it look so clean, John. And BetBoom, you already said it's a very exciting team to watch, but they certainly have me very excited going into the Stockholm Major. I just can't wait to see more of this team, and more particularly what they're going to come up with in terms of drafts, like how the meta develops for this team.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding those weird combinations already. Again, the Overload, the Storm on the Familiars is probably the most ridiculous thing I've seen. You can just see how well they perform. They basically go a really strong run. You know, no perfect game for anyone coming through here, but they get that momentum going really fast. They go back to Laurel on the Storm, just going for the triple null, as everyone does. But he plays with it so well. He knows what he has to do on a map. He knows he's got to take activity and just gets that done. And even the build-up on Notice here is a lot different, right? Like, he goes for a utility build. He knows that he's got to provide some mobility, some chain stunts with the Yules, and some hold. And you can just see that start again for MindGames was pretty solid. They had strong lanes coming out. They had a lot of cores up there in net worth. They were in control for a good 15 minutes of that game, but just those couple of fights snowballed out of control and allowed BetBoom to take over much more of the map than you'd want them to. Like, as you mentioned, it's a Chen, it's a Visage. Not much is left standing when these heroes get their way.
No, certainly not. And BetBoom, I mean, I'm very happy to see them qualify into the major after such a great performance throughout these playoffs. Quite frankly, John, I don't think it matters what team they were up against here in this best of three. It just seemed like they were going to always have it. I mean, I suppose you never know, but they just look solid. And they seem to have a very decent understanding of the meta right now that we don't get to see very often. Like, who else is playing POS 1 Visage right now? You know, who else is running these weird styles of draft for Chen? You just don't see it across the regions. Yet sometimes you see it experimented with, but it's not a mainstay. But it seems like this team has its own style of meta in this particular patch. And their style of meta does seem very broken, Jonathan. I mean, they are actually abusing the neutral changes that were made in the recent patch, which was something you pointed out. It was the main kind of change in this recent patch is the jungle. And we haven't seen too many teams try to abuse it too much, apart from, you know, Helm of the Dominator into Harpy Scouts and things like that. But it does seem like BetBoom, they take it a step further than that. They want more creeps. They want more Harpy Scouts. They want Visage. They want Familiars. They want Flying Vision with Aghanim Scepters. They're going to electrify those Familiars, Jonathan. Give them that bonus attack speed. You know, it's zoo meta, but it's like fun zoo meta. It's not like Broodmother Beastmaster zoo meta, which is just kind of meh, you know? It's the fun style of zoo meta.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, there's so much more in store. I know the Huck is known for a lot of wonky pause ones. Necrophos pause one is something he's run a couple of times. So I'm looking forward to what else these guys haven't revealed, because this is what we know. I'm sure there's a lot more that we don't know that they've started to practice on. They start playing in their pubs, and it's just exciting to have this kind of explosive team on hand, and hopefully they do well. You know, they are just showing us a different kind of Dota that, again, you and I appreciate very much, because we haven't really seen that. And as if they can bring that same style outside, I think it'll surprise way more people there.
Yeah, certainly agree. I believe we are waiting for an interview right now, just kind of waiting around. I'm sure they're celebrating right now. Obviously, a great achievement being able to go to the major here for BetBoom. I wonder what their idea is of Necrobook, Jonathan. Do they believe Necrobook should still be in the game? I mean, I feel like this is a team that would truly appreciate how great of an item Necrobook was. I'm almost tempted to ask whoever we're going to interview if they believe that the Necrobooks should still be in the game. Sadly, well, I guess, you know, it's probably unprofessional to ask, John. I'll probably avoid asking, but I kind of do want to know.
I mean, you could ask, Mike. There's nothing stopping you. It's a very good question.
Is it,
it's a
John?
Good question to. It is. It's a good way to gauge how mentally sound someone is. Right? So it's a good judge. It's a good way of. It's a litmus test of someone's character. You know, it's a good litmus test to find out what kind of person are they. Are they normal, or are they just disgusting? You know,
right.
That's it. And again, I'm telling you, you can always go back to the Book of the Dead. But while waiting for that interview and away from the stupid conversation about items that don't exist anymore, we can take a look at the brackets and our sked lined up for tomorrow here. Of course, we do already have our one qualified team in BetBoom, making it true on the upper bracket, but we still have that lower bracket left up here. A lot more matches to play, Mike.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got the lower bracket there. Team Spirit versus Natus Vincere. That's going to be a hype one tomorrow. Of course, MindGames, they have made it through to the lower bracket finals anyway. So, you know, it's, there you go. Team Spirit and Natus Vincere, and of course the winner is going to be against MindGames. If you are one of these teams, though, like you look at Team Spirit, you look at Na'Vi, are you afraid of going against MindGames? And that's no disrespect to MindGames, but they didn't look the best in this series, right? And you're looking at Team Spirit, you're looking at Na'Vi, they look pretty hot right now, especially Team Spirit. These are TI10 winners. What are you thinking, John? For these two teams going into that matchup, I'm not going to say it's anything like a free win, because it's not. But you've got to be thinking, you might be just moving in very confidently as the winner of that series between Na'Vi and Spirit.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of confidence in. I think most teams, though, most of the disciplined teams, like, again, teams like Boom, teams like Fnatic, they always say this, but you have to respect every single opponent. So I'm sure on their minds, they're not even thinking about that. You know, they're just focused in on the matches they have to play, respect their opponents, and just see how it goes. And speaking of talking to people here, Mike, we do have our interview ready here.
Yes, we do have the coach of BetBoom joining us. Mag, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, of course. Hello, guys.
Hello. Congratulations on your victory, and congratulations on being qualifying to the Stockholm Major, sir. Hey, how are you feeling right now?
Feeling great. Like, actually, I'm holding a cold beer in my right hand and already celebrating victory. Yes.
That's the way to do it. Beautiful. Good to hear. Talk to me about the preparation. Like, obviously, you guys, you had a matchup against another team. That didn't end up happening, so you had to go against MindGames here in the finals. Did your preparation change at all? Were you guys still confident going into this series? Did you just stick to the same game plan? What was the talks in the back?
Like we was preparing some new strat, but as you saw, Mars Wizards, just Wizards was enough to win these games. So yeah, 2 games we played with first pick, but we was preparing something new with second pick, but it didn't came to this. Overall, we was preparing to mind games same like it was with all other teams. Nothing new. We was still respecting the team, and but we was confident for sure.
Okay, fair enough.
We was confident, but you know, like you cannot relax until you win.
Absolutely.
And after the first game, like the main thing was, guys, calm down, don't relax, focus. We need to win one more, then we can celebrate.
That's the right attitude, I think, Mag. That's definitely the way to look at it. Talk to me about the meta. You guys are running something very different to what we're used to. You're running the Visage. You're running heroes like Chen. Do you feel this new meta does revolve a lot around? I don't want to say like a zoo meta, but do you feel like it revolves around these new neutral creeps in the jungle?
Yes, of course. The natural creeps is kinda imbalanced right now. That's why Dominator on supports, like the Garpy creep, it's very, very strong. And overall, Chen, Enchantress, I feel, yes, they kinda strong right now. It's just the heroes we play, Chen, Visage, as you say, Nature Prophet, very unusual heroes, and people don't understand how to play against them. Yeah. Um, it's mostly all these heroes on carry role. It's of course because of our carry, Nikita the Hack. Uh, like this guy is very uncasual player, and he got very annoying hero pool. And it's a pleasure to have a player like this in your team, not against you. And
That is
Sure.
and I even feel like at the moment in our region, yeah, he playing very good. And compared to other players, he the only guy who playing like this with all these heroes. So yeah, it's our main how to say. Uh, yeah, I forgot how to say it in English. Like, but about this meta, it's a lot because of Nikita. About Chen, you was asking also. Saneko was playing a lot before the DPC. We didn't trade this hero so high, but after we played some games, we understood that Chen is also very strong and he fit very well in our drafts.
Go ahead, John.
That's great to hear. Now, I'm curious, Mag. You talked about the Hawk having that unique hero pool. We've
Yeah.
seen, of course, we've seen the Visage just very recently. People have been talking about its Necrophos. How much more, how deep does this go? You don't need to reveal too much. You have a lot to save up for the major. But is there a lot more saved up there for us to see down the line?
For sure, we need to prepare something new, but I cannot reveal much. The main thing, like, we don't like to play greedy core heroes. And our meta right now, as you see, we're trying to play aggressive, like with 3 semi carries.
That's fair. And it is showing up well.
And I feel, of course, it's very good. Like it's for me, it's always some tier 1 teams that was making their own meta. So we're trying to do the same, and it's very easy when you have players, for example, like the Hack in your team. Even from the start, when we only starting playing together, practicing together before the new year, the Hack was always asking for some unusual heroes. And when we was playing more and more together, it was the trust. How to say, like we was trying his ideas, and when it was working, he was we just always trying to build drafts around his heroes because it was working, and it's our main thing. I don't know how to
And
say it correctly.
it is showing true well. I think it's the trust you have for the Hawk with his crazy ideas, right? Like he says
Yes,
something
yes,
wild,
yes,
and
yes,
you guys just trust him to deliver the goods because he's so confident with him, and it is
yes.
exciting to see that. I am keen though on your thoughts here, Mag. You guys are going to Stockholm. You know, we're not going to have China there, but you have a lot of other international teams. What region are you personally most excited to play against? Are you excited for your team to play against? What region are you guys looking out for, or team?
It's very sad that, of course, it will be China, but there is no China at this major, so not how to say. There is not much something new because we practicing a lot against Europe teams, and from America, North America, right? It's only evil geniuses. It's they look kind of good. Last DPC, but overall, of course, it will be China. But it seems like it's not this time. As for
Fair
me,
enough.
our main goal, of course, to reach more DPC points as much as we can and make it to the TI direct invite.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to see that. And it's funny as well that we have now BetBoom and Boom up there. I want to ask you about that specifically. I don't know if you've seen any of Boom, but they're also a really exciting team. Which Boom do
Of
you think is
course.
better? Of course, I think I know the answer, but which Boom
Oh,
do you think is better?
we will see. For me, yeah, if you ask me, I really respect this team because of Mushi as a coach of this team. He is my good friend. We played together, if you remember, but
Hmm.
you maybe don't remember. It was like 2017. I was joining Mineski and playing for some time, and we still talking together. We're talking with each other sometime, and I really happy for him that he built this team and they're showing really good results. Like they kinda owning their region right now. So yeah, it will be nice to play against them for sure. If you ask me against which teams, like I said about China, but Boom team, yeah, for sure, it's very interesting to play against them. As I remember, they won last LAN tournament, right? That was
Hmm.
in Dubai,
Yeah.
That they
if
did.
I'm
That
not
they
wrong.
did.
So yeah, yeah, for sure, it's gonna be interesting.
All right.
Well, Mag,
Before I hand it to Mike, before
go
I
on,
hand it
John.
to you, Mike, I'm going to ask the question Mike wanted to ask. He wanted to get your thoughts on Necrobook. Do you miss the Necronomicon? Do you think it deserved to be taken out? Like, what's your thoughts on that, Mag?
I really loved this item only because I was playing a lot. I used it to play a lot on offlane, so of course on Beastmaster, on Enigma, but yeah, it was kind of imbalanced item.
No,
I
no,
didn't.
no.
So it was very annoying to play on supports against Necronomicon with your wards. No items cannot save you against
Hmm.
Necronomicons. Glimmer cannot save you. Ghost Scepter cannot save you. So yeah, it was very annoying. Um, I want you to ask me about my team. Like, who is doing the main job, and I will answer you.
Go ahead, Mike. Do it.
All right.
Yes, I want to. I'm really, how to say. I'm really proud of my team.
Yeah.
Of course, young players for sure. This major is first major for them. This guy's doing great job, but my carry Nikita Dahak, he's not only a good player, he's doing a lot. He's like player, and outside of the game, he's a second coach for sure. He's making a lot of job in our team with replay analysis, and overall he's very smart player. And of course my captain, Saneiko. I'm really happy that we built this team, and finally we show results. Like it took some time. We started season from second division. Now we are here. We are at the major from the first place, and I'm really happy and glad that we make it.
Well, tell me, who's the shot caller then? Like you said, Dahaki, he's kind of like a second coach, and then you've got Captain Seneko. Who's calling the shots in the games for the team?
Of course, Seneka is the captain. He is the main shot caller, but Dahak from his side. And for example, if you're playing aggressive, you're ruling the game. So when it comes to the mid game, to the late game, mostly the hack is calling a lot. But I'm how to say, in our situation, even young players, they making some shots. Sometimes they understand game very well. For me, one of the young players, our mid player, Larl, he is MVP for me on this DPC. He played really well on important series. Like maybe last game was hard for him, but overall, if we take all series and most important games, he was playing really good.
Certainly was. He looked fantastic all throughout, I think, Mag. And look, before we let you go, Mag, I've got to ask you, what are you and the team doing to celebrate your victory in the qualification to the major? What's happening? Are you partying tonight?
If you how to say, I'm at home in Ukraine and Kiev, and my team in Russia. So they're at boot camp. I'm at home. So I cannot. I only hope there will be some chance to meet with them at the major.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's that's it.
Fair enough. Well, with that, Mag, congratulations again on your qualification to the major. John, did you have any more questions before I let the man go?
I just wanted, Mag, we've been asking you questions. Before we close out, give your message to fans, give your message to the team. It's a big moment for you guys. Take the floor, Mag.
Like I feel like I said everything I want, and I don't know what to say. I just hope we will gain some more fans, and people enjoying our games, and we will try our best. We will prepare to the major, and we'll try to show some unusual Dota and some good Dota. Yes.
Well, Mag, we can't wait to see you again. Congratulations to you and your team on the qualification to the major, and I think you guys have got plenty of fans on the way, let me tell you, from the way you guys are playing. You've at least got 2 more from us, Mag. So with that, congratulations and best of luck in the major. We can't wait to watch you guys.
Thank you a lot, guys. Have a good night and goodbye.
Thank you, Mag. Bye-bye.
Good night.
What an absolute gentleman, Mag is, John. Absolute gentleman. Obviously, he was so proud of his team. That's what I love about coaches like this. Like he got sick of us asking about questions about the meta and how they're prepared. He didn't care about all of that. He just wanted to praise how great his team was, and that's the sign of a great coach to me. He doesn't want any of the attention. He doesn't want to talk about anything else. He just wants to talk about how great his team is, and I can appreciate that, Jonathan. I think he's doing a great job coaching. Clearly, based off the results and the performance of his team, and he seems very, very proud of them. I'm happy to hear that he's proud. He should be.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think this journey would have been the clearest path, but this format, again, it's very good at finding the best team, and BetBoom comes out on top in a big way. They get this big momentum going into the major. Really excited to see them. Hopefully it goes through without a hitch. It looks like it should be, and I know he wanted more fans. I think he's going to gain a lot more because of this.
Absolutely. At least 2 from us, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers in the chat have become pretty big fans of this team. And how can you not love them? They've got such a crazy play style, crazy drafts, obviously young players, and I can't wait to see them at the major. I mean, we want to put some faces to the players, to the teams, and just understand what they're like, and hopefully we get to know them a little bit more. And quite frankly, John, I think BetBoom, at the very least, they might go on a bit of a run here. Right, in the major. I mean, I don't want to call it early, but they're looking clean, and I think their meta is just very different. The way they play, their strats are very different to what we see from other teams. And those kind of teams, they're always special going into a major. Yeah, it's the dark horse that you just don't expect anything out of. and you kind of forget about them. But then they go on a mad run, and then you don't know what to do against these guys. Like they're just crazy with their strategies. It's what I love to see.
Yeah, and we heard Coach Mag, they still have a lot more in store that we should hopefully see in the majors. So more surprises to come. And as he said, the best teams make the meta themselves. BetBoom's on the path to get that done. We'll just have to see if it carries through the major. But again, it's looking good in that front, Mike.
And shout out to production as well for making me a chicken now. And they gave you, I believe, the sunglasses guy with a fire now. So you're on fire apparently, and I'm a chicken. Well, I guess they are right in some sense, John. I am about to go eat some chicken for dinner, so it's going to be very, very delicious. Speaking of, that is it for tonight's stream. Of course, we're going to have more Eastern European DPC playoffs happening tomorrow, so do tune in. And, of course, it's going to be another hype day. Apart from that, though, it is MLP Dota. And what is it, John?
Your name tag, dude. You've got the fried chicken now, too.
I do too. This production, I love these production teams. Shout out to Pythian and Neff, of course, doing a fantastic job in the back, making us smile all the time, which is something you and I rarely get to do because we live terrible lives, Jonathan. With that, though, it is MLP Dota. It is johnxfire. It's been an absolute pleasure. Come back tomorrow for some more great Eastern European DPC playoffs. It's going to be hype. We'll be there. We'll be casting some more games, and we hopefully see you there. But we'll see you then.